Anyway, I moved to Millstreet, and I stayed in Millstreet for another 2 years.
Right.
But that was a different kind of farm. It was a completely commercial. They had a mill, and they were buying weaners, and fattening them. Had about 13 or 1400, and that was 13 or 1400 fattening pigs at the one time,
Jesus.
And I used to have to go to the mart to sell the pigs and go to the mart to buy the bonds,
So there's a bit
used to drive the lorry. It was a
big scale operation, though.
So then I was there for 2 years, and I had done an interview before I got married then for a job on the newly built pig co-op in Muckalee. And I didn't get the job. A fella from Waterford got the job.
Right.
So something happened in the pig farm in Muckalee at the time anyway, and both the manager and the fella that was doing the field work recording that was the pig co-op, Muckalee pig co-op.
And Plan B had an interest in it, had it? No?
Yeah, Reddy Brennan was the supremo down in Ballyragget at the time, Nicky Purcell was the creamery manager in Muckalee.
Yeah.
And Nicky was chairman of Kilkenny County Board, I think, at that time, big into the GA. But I didn't get the job as field recorder as it was for the pig co-op at the time, which meant going out to it was a pig fattening co-op where you became a member. Farmers became members, and they kept 7 or 8 sows, and they would supply the weaners, and they had a guaranteed price for their weaners. It was fixed. A couple of times a year, and no matter whether the pigs went. The big problem with the pigs, was that you get a great price for 6 months and you get a woeful bad price for another 6 months. But the pig co-op, the idea was that they pay a flat rate the whole time, and the members would stay loyal to the co-op.
Yeah, to find the wean.
So I went to Muckalee in January 1969.
Yeah. Right.
And I'd say that there were another great 5 years there, mixing with the Muckalee lads, and there were some GA people up there. And this is where the parish rules surfaced again.
Yeah.
They had a junior hurling team in Coon, which was one end of the parish.
Yeah.
And in Muckalee, then, which was the centre of the parish, they had a football team. So the Coon lads would play football with Muckalee, and the Muckalee lads were supposed to play hurling then with Coon. But then there was Ballyfoyle as well, but they didn't have a team, and some of them would be playing with Coon and more would be playing with Muckalee. That's a complete mix and gathering of everything. And it led to tension and that, But the next thing, this John Hunt, a very prominent man in the Muckalee area, decided enough was enough. We're going to have our own hurling team in Muckalee and let them Coon lads paddle their own canoe. We're not going to be going up there and we standing on the sideline. We have 10 lads standing on the sideline, and our lads 37 years of age playing Coon lads playing for Coon. So they decided that they were going to put in their own junior team in Muckalee. So there was a couple of the Muckalee lads decided that they were going to stay where they always play with Coon, and the other, all the young lads, and Hunt started up this team in Muckalee, and he had the Mourns and the Comerfords, the Morrises. They were the bulk of the team. Johnny Brennan then down from Ballyfoyle, he was a brilliant hurler, played a few games for Kilkenny seniors. In no time anyway, they were junior hurling champions, and intermediate hurling champion. Muckalee, Ballyfoyle Rangers. This is what Hunt called the team. But this enmity with Coon was still going on. Coon then could only have a bad junior team, and these boys then was after winning an intermediate, and they were going senior. So this is where Father Martin Ryan intervened anyway. He was a missionary priest in the Philippines, and he'd be home in the summer, So he knocked their heads together, and he says, this Coon Muckalee fighting is going to have to stop, Knock your heads together and cop yourselves on, So we're going to have a proper team in the parish. We're going to call it St. Martin's. So it was no length anyway. They were getting to senior semi-finals and senior finals, but they were up against the Shamrocks all the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they'd lose by 3 pints and 4 pints. And
absolutely, yeah.
they were a brilliant team, but in 1983, when the lads were in their 30s, like, they came up against the Shamrocks in the final and they managed to beat them.
I heard that.
And the next thing I knew, they were in the Leinster Championship, like.
Yeah.
They played Kinnity down in Athy, I think it was in the Leinster final that year in November. Yeah. And they bet Kinnity with Pat Delaney and the Corrigans and all them lads,
good
like.
Players.
Do you know? And the next thing they were in a semi-final. They bet the crowd, I think, from Antrim. And they qualified then to meet the Castlegar from Galway, or the Connollys and all them lads. One of the best teams in Ireland at the time. Like, Muckalee, like.
Absolutely.
They weren't even respected in Kilkenny. They were mountainy men, like. So, Bicheni, they won their final in, they drew it the first day on St. Patrick's Day in 1984. And they won the replay in Thurles a couple of weeks after. And, like, that said to me, like, it was always in my head after that, like, it was in Cork, the parish rule was always in Cork, everyone played with their own parish. Well, that in theory, but it didn't happen in every, as Tom knows, like the parish rule doesn't be respected. There's kind of ins and outs, like.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I had great respect for, Comer people played with Comer. Connaughey people played with Connaughey. Ballaraggett people played with Ballaraggett, like. Muckalee people played with Muckalee. And I thought it was great, like, you know. So when I came back here then, I came back here then in '74 after serving my time at the Pigs for between Cork and Cork and Muckalee, like, for 8 years, nearly 9 years, like. So I managed to persuade the Agricultural Credit Corporation to give me money to build a piggery, like, because we were after joining the EU and farms were getting modern, like, and I don't know what, there was no such thing as a 100 sow unit or anything anywhere. One fellow, Jimmy Friday, was after building one up in Offaly. Tonnessee Co-op was after being formed, like, but they were only, Tonnessee was only a pig fattening station, same as Muckalee, and that wasn't the answer, like, because like all these pigs coming from various farms to be fattened into one centre sounded great, like, but as the mixing of the viruses and the bacteria, the disease was
rampant.
You couldn't control it. It was antibiotics all the way, like tail biting, everything like that was. But the only way to do it, like, was have your breeding sows, finish them out, like, and that was it, like. So I decided to
build a piggery here.
I persuaded the Agricultural Credit Corporation in Portage at the time to give me money, like, and sure. Everyone said it was stone wall. Jeez, Carl, how long will you last at the pigs in more?
Piggery,
I could hear it, like, you know what I mean?
But you mastered it, then you got going well. And
for sure, it was my bread and butter, like, from 1974 until I retired 30 years later in 2004. So we had great times here with Dan Shock and Shoe Ham, like.
Absolutely,
You know.
And you were talking about the large white and the landrace sows, like, but when I come up to you here, just the carcass of the pigs had stretched out. You know,
absolutely,
you had a professional approach to it. And
that's right.
And I remember the girls coming out, they were out from Haywood School in that class coming home, said that you said you had 90% of the sows farming on a Thursday.
That's right.
Yeah, but cheapers. This was unreal altogether.
We give them the hormone on on a Wednesday night, like, before we go to the Whistin Raheen.
You had them organized.
I'd have 25 sows to hormone, like. And once they passed, I'd hormone them. The gestation period of a sow theoretically, like, is 112 days. But, like, they wouldn't farrow on the 112. They'd farrow about 13, 14, 15, 16. But if you give them the hormone, you'd wean them on a Thursday. They'd be due to be served then the following Monday. So, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So you could hormone them then on a Wednesday night. The farrow on the Thursday.
But it proved that you had a professional approach to it.
There's no other way of doing it. It should be up all night.
You had it mastered.
So when I'd go out on a Thursday morning, like, the 25 sows that had be due to farrow, 10 of them or 7 or 8 of them, I have it done on their own, and they'd be grand. I mean, but it's only in the daytime then when they start to farrow. you might start interfering, like you think they were slower. And them were the ones that give you the problems. It just goes to show that if you leave them to the natural way, things work out better.
When you go into numbers, Peter, you had to, when you go into numbers, they had to be able to look after themselves.
That's
they
right.
had to be bred that way.
Yeah.
But I suppose we better move on from the pigs and. Fair play to you, had mass and you got a professional approach to it and you got your living out of it. But then you moved on and you got involved in Spink GA, of course. When they formed the team, when John Miller came to Spink and...
Well, even before that, well, John was always there, like. He was still playing football. He even played with Spink, like, when he was up to, I don't know, he must have been near 40, like.
Yeah.
So he might have been only junior, he wouldn't be playing with the first. I think he might have played with the first team in 1 or 2 matches, like. But anyway, we had juvenile teams then in Spink. Well, the school, and the Condrum was in the school, like.
That's right.
And sure, nothing happened much before he came, like. And he came probably in the 70s, like, and started tutoring the young lads, like, and sure, they loved them. And then there was Ballynakill hurling, and there was a few nice hurlers in Ballapickus, like a Paul Brennan and Ty Costigan and Mick Cahill and
Tommy
Dennis Keogh.
Tommy Gorman and Moat, of course,
they were. Tommy Gorman and Moat didn't matter whether it was hurling or football or whatever the hell it was. He could have played a good soccer player, maybe. Because he had that proper approach, like. But